This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. On a Monday night, the fourth game of a four-game set. Cardinals trying to earn a split. It's the Philadelphia Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals from Busch Stadium. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Dan McLaughlin. That's the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds. Jim Hayes with us as well. Miles Mikolas is on the mound for St. Louis. Really been a tough luck starter this year. Not a lot of run support and ultimately not a lot of wins.
Well, I was going to say, if you're going to look at his record, he's a tough luck loser also. And in the 7 losses that he has, the offense has scored a total, Danny, a total of 5 runs in 7 losses. So if that tells you anything at all, and you look right there at the last 6 starts, but his record being 5-7, and he only has a 2.7 ERA.
And so you compare it to when he was an all-star, and the numbers are very similar. This season, the whip is better. The opponent OPS at 605, right around that 600 mark, what we saw in 2018. So the wins and losses don't look the same, but some of the other numbers certainly do. Speaking of all-stars, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Albert Pujols, all headed to the Midsummer Classic, and Ryan Helsley. Closer look at the All-Stars next.
Look at those little Cardinals fans all ready to go, all pumped up. And yeah, they're going to see some all-stars there for the Cardinals today playing against the Phillies. It's been pretty cool to watch the Cardinals this season and how the first half has come together for these guys. You've got Albert Pujols, who's the commissioner's pick, Paul Goldschmidt, the starting first baseman, a fan pick. And here are your NL All-Star reserves. Nolan Arenado, extremely deserved this position. He's going back to his hometown, his 7th All-Star selection, 2nd as a Cardinal. And then the pitchers, there you go, Ryan Helsley earning his first All-Star nod. He said it was pretty cool. He took a picture of it and sent it to his family in the group chat. And there were tears of joy, the fact that they were all going to hop on a plane and be able to be there with him. Star-studded event, and he is deservedly so right to be there. The second reliever since 1933 with a sub-1 ERA, sub-1 whip, and 50-plus strikeouts before the All-Star break. And he is doing it all extremely healthy. His turnaround from last year when he was injured and had some trouble landing on that foot to all the way coming to this season where he has been incredible. He is awesome. All right, Miles Mikolas about to take the bump. We'll see if he can go to the distance or have to turn it over to Helsley this afternoon. We get you set for first pitch between the Cardinals and the Phillies. Let's head down to Miami. Pirates taking on the Marlins. Diego Castillo singling out to center. 2-run score. They're up 2-0 early in this one, all off Trevor Rogers. All right, Dylan Carlson getting warmed up for this one, playing center field, batting 5th, ahead of Albert Pujols. More on him when we return.
Lineup, and he has been selected to the All-Star game, the commissioner's pick, headed back to LA at Dodger Stadium. Yesterday, a little history for Albert Pujols: 3 hits, Jimmy, and a bomb.
Well,
684.
We talked a little bit at the beginning of the year about we thought he would end up playing a little bit more, doing a little bit better. He hasn't played a little bit more, but yesterday, I think he was making the point. He's ready to play a little bit more.
And so the extra base hits coming into play tonight. He is tied with Stan the Man, 1,377. Did the Cardinals earn a split? Drop the first 2. Thrilling win yesterday afternoon. Phils, Cardinals, baseball coming up. Ball is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. It is a hot night here in the Gateway City, St. Louis. And tonight, game number 4 between the Philadelphia Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals. Finish up this series. LA in town tomorrow, and then the Reds over the weekend with Jim Hayes, the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. It is very, very warm here tonight. And the rare 4-game series ending on a Monday night, wrapping around the weekend. That's odd.
It is a little odd. I thought about that a couple of times, and I was wondering, are we really still playing the same team? Because it just is so different than any. I mean, I don't. How many times has this happened in the last 5 or 10 years? I can't remember more than 1 or 2, and it's usually around the 4th of July or something like that.
Well, the Cardinals, by virtue of their win yesterday, they're now 46-42. 2.5 back of Milwaukee, and here at home they're 25-18. The Phillies, they've gotten hot. They're now 6 games above the 500 mark, 46-40, and on the road they've been a pretty good team, 22-19, 7 games back in the East. So there's a look at your NL Central standings, and it's going to be the Brewers and the Cardinals for the entirety of that second half, and it should be a lot of fun once we get through the All-Star break. Game number 89 tonight for the Cardinals, and Miles Mikolas is on the mound. He is 5-7, but the record not indicative of just how well he has pitched this season. Mikolas, a 2.72 ERA. It is his 18th start. Last time out against Atlanta, back on the 6th, he went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, couple of home runs. It was back-to-back Eddie Rosario and also Marcell Ozuna. And that was basically it. He was pretty sharp again, but he has not had run support. That's been a problem, and there's a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal.
Well, he's got a plethora of pitches, and he has been throwing them all well. And Danny, when you say he hasn't had run support, I'm going to have to say that that's an understatement, considering what we talked about in the open. He has 7 losses, and in the 7 losses, this team has only scored 5 runs total. That's not run support.
But then on the flip side, when he wins, he gets 50 runs, so 10 runs a game. Kyle Schwarber at the top for the Phillies. He homered here yesterday, number 28. Then to Rhys Hoskins, Nick Castellanos, Derek Hall, the designated hitter, JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius, Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, and the St. Louis native from CBC High School, Matt Veerley. Jim Edmonds, your Toyota key to the game.
Pretty simple. What we've been talking about. Miles, just keep on rolling. Just keep doing your thing. Offense is ready to roll, get some support. But for you, just keep on rolling and doing your own deal. Because I tell you what, if he goes out and pitches like he's been pitching, he'll be just fine. And I think maybe you sounded like you wanted to argue with me over the run scored thing, support and not support, like feast or famine. I thought would be nice, but you just came right after me with like, if they give him 10 runs when he wins, you can't pitch like that.
Oh, Jimmy, I was just basing the statement on facts.
I got
but you're right. Feast or famine.
Feast or famine.
That's the key to the game. You need to change it right now. Feast or famine.
Well, I feel like, you know, that it's funny because how and where do you fit in that feast or famine as a pitcher? You know, you kind of go, oh, well, all right, we're rolling, everything's great, and then the next thing you think, you look up and you've lost 4 in a row and you got a 2.7 ERA. So yeah, you're right. I would have to say it would probably be tough to decide what team is going to be behind you each day if that was the case.
And the 2-0 in for a strike. It's also not only getting a lack of support offensively, but he's also been matched up against some of the best pitchers in the game. It's just his turn falls against Alcantara or others.
I was going to say, speaking of best pitchers in the game, Sandy Alcantara did it again last night. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been awesome and one of the best, if not the best, in the National League and all of baseball. Schwarber with the 28 home runs, first in the NL, 5 ahead of Pete Alonso, and he's 6th in runs batted in. He's driven in 57. A little bit high, and the count runs to 3-2. Early start, 6:15, so the right fielder
in trouble.
Yeah, that is a tough sun field.
Look at, I don't know why, but when he turned around and was looking at home plate, it even looked brighter than it should be. It is like
You know what they used to say when I was playing? It was hot. It would be like the sun was leaning on you. And that's what it feels like out there in right field right now.
And that's where you lean on your center fielder, your infielders to help you out too.
Hey, how about sliding over here and helping me out a little bit?
Took some off it and a strikeout to Schwarber.
Or keep throwing those pitches.
Goldie back at first, the all-star for St. Louis. Nolan Gorman at second, Tommy Edman at short, Sosa is at third, Kisner behind the plate. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Dickerson, Carlson, and the aforementioned Juan Yepes in right field. Now Rhys Hoskins, 17 home runs and has driven in 42. This happened in the previous start with Michaelis, with batters stepping out and Hoskins kind of looking back at him saying, what? I didn't do anything. He got flustered with that in that start against Atlanta. They did that a handful of times and he started kind of mouthing back to the umpire like saying, hey, get him in the box and let's go.
Yeah, like it's a pitch clock. It should be a hitter's clock too.
And that was his point exactly.
It's coming, so it should be coming from both sides.
Hoskins 0 for 5, 3 walks head to head against Miles. And the 2-0. That's it out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now on the flip side, Jimmy, if you know that you can get under his skin, teams are going to do it.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want to be the wrong guy that got a little too deep underneath someone's skin,
pulling a fastball with 95 in his arm.
And the shift on the left side of the infield, the 2-1. Now 2-2. Home plate umpire is Jeremy Riggs. Will Little is at first. Todd Titchener, the crew chief, at second. And John Bacon, the third base umpire. Here's a 2-2. Full count. So back-to-back full counts for Michaelis, and that is rare just to see one.
Yeah, you know what I like right there? He had just pinpoint control on those last 2 pitches. And I mean, that ball down and away is perfect. And then even the ball up.
Out to deep left. And it's 1-0 Philly into Big Mac land. A long home run to Hoskins, his 18th. He's driven in 43. 1-0 Phillies.
Did we say yesterday? I think this guy's about to go
into Big Mac land.
Yeah, and I feel like he's about to go off. And I was just looking up some stats because he's only been hitting .230 over his last 7 games, but each day his takes are getting better and better and better. But this is just a little bit of a hanging slider. Tell you what, someone might be wearing one tonight.
So you judge it, Jimmy, by how a guy takes the baseball.
I do.
Takes a pitch.
I see guys getting better body position on each take, and swings are still there too. And for Rhys right there, for the last couple of days, his swings have been getting bigger and bigger and like more aggressive, and that means feeling pretty good. Just missed a couple of pitches, and you know he's taking good breaking balls, so that tells me, hey, heads up.
Well, Michaelis has made a start against the Phillies back on July 1st, went 5 1/3, gave up a homer, and took the loss in that game. And the next pitch swung on and missed by Castellanos. Just 8 home runs for Castellanos after 34 a year ago with Cincinnati. The 1-2. Check swing. Did not go. Michaelis against the National League East this year. He's had 5 starts, winless, but a 2.17 ERA. April 20th at Miami, April 25th against the Mets. Those were scoreless starts, but did not get any runs of support. The Scherzer game here in St. Louis was pitch for pitch awesome. Seeing those two going back and forth. And Alcantara back on April 20th. He was hooked up against Merrill Kelly of Arizona. I mean, he has been getting the tough draws, so to speak. Swing and a miss. And the second strikeout for Miles Michaelis.
Don't get me wrong, it's fun to watch, but it's just not fun to be on the wrong side of it. And it's awesome to see the 2 or 3 or 4 best pitchers in the league going side by side every couple weeks. But man, you got to catch a break if you're Miles.
And I guess if you're a pitcher, Jimmy, you can't worry about who is on the mound opposing you. You can't sit there and say, well, I've got to be perfect because it's Scherzer or Alcantara or others.
Right. You know what, though? You're right. But I think they do. I talking to Miles after that. Yeah, after talking to Miles, and he gave up that home run, he said to me, just a matter of time before one pitch is make or break on either side. And he realized when he gave up the home run, he said that could be it.
So, and you can't give up anymore, so you just got to stay with it. Can't give up.
Inside to Derek Hall.
That's the thing that these guys do. You see the Wainwrights and the Michaelises, and when they do give up the home run, or they do get themselves in a situation where they know in the 8th inning it's down 2-0, they don't stop, they don't quit, they just keep making pitches and just finish this game.
A couple of days ago, Hall in the 9th inning against Gallegos, a double, and that run proved to be the only one the Phillies would need. They'd win it 1-0, and they beat Wainwright on Friday night when Waino went the distance. Outside corner and missed, and it evens it up at 2-2. This will be pitch number 25 for Michaelis.
A lot of pitches in the first inning for this heat. Pitch, good try.
So going to 3-2 again, and that's unlike him. And usually you don't see 25 pitch innings from Miles either. And the 3-2. The strikeout of Derek Hall, so he strikes out 3 but gives up the home run to Rhys Hoskins. Half inning in the books. The Phillies with a 1-run lead coming up. Tommy Edman, Juan Yepez, and Goldie here in St. Louis. Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Gorman, Dylan Carlson, Albert Pujols, the designated hitter, Corey Dickerson, Edmundo Sosa, and Andrew Kisner. Facing a good one here tonight in Aaron Nola. Now he's 5-6, but an ERA that is just over 3. And it's a lot like Michaelis. Philly will score a ton in his wins, not so much in the losses. In his 6 losses, only 13 runs. So he's not getting at times run support either. Hyundai pitch arsenal.
It's the 4-seam and the sinker. A lot of fastballs. Get a little bit of cutters. I think it's interesting too when you look at these things. The knuckle curve at the bottom, but you see that the swing or the pitch percentage is at one level, and then the almost like the swing and miss percentage is like flopped. Like the less of the pitches that he throws, the more swing and misses he gets, and partially probably because he throws a lot of fastballs, and that knuckle curve at the bottom is a good secondary pitch. You can see it right there. That's almost like one of those old school Nintendo curveballs.
Little frisbee.
Little whip out of there. That's the one when you let the pitch button go and then you wait and then you move it and it's halfway there. That's unfair.
That's the one.
The joystick.
Edman lifts a high fly ball out to Kyle Schwarber in left field. Under it to make the catch in the first out. The batter will be Juan Yepez. Phillies defense, Schwarber is in left field. Matt Vierling in center. Nick Castellanos in right. Bohm, Gregorius, Stott, Hoskins on the infield. Realmuto is behind the plate. Around the horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. And here's Juan Yepez. He's hitting .259, 11 home runs, and has driven in 27.
I still love this second slot here in this lineup. I think you have so many guys that can benefit from it.
Going to see a lot of that. Fastballs. You should get those.
Well, I think you're going to get them in counts that you're supposed to get them, at least, where you're going to get pitched the way you get pitched regardless. But when you get to 3-0, 3-1, maybe 2-0, you're going to probably see more fastballs because of the guys behind you.
And Yepez pops it foul, out of play, nothing at 2. Cardinals still without Brendan Donovan, who's been dealing with a sickness. Lars Nootbaar is on the bench. Austin Romine in the backup catcher. Nolan Arenado scheduled day. Castellanos in the shade of the light standard, now moving out of it.
He got forced out of it by the outfield coach.
And I get
sneak back over there.
Hey, the coach is going to put you in the best spot that he feels. Okay, 2 strikes. He's going to go to here. He's going to do that, but you got to go into the dugout and you say, but I can't see if I'm not in the shadow.
And that's my point. Would be I would point to my eyes and be like, I'm sorry, like I get what you're saying, but I need to see the ball off the bat. And maybe he can. Maybe he's just been out there enough to know, but I just know from a lot of experience, I don't want to be standing in that sun, not looking into the sun.
And it brings in Goldie. Not sure that everybody realizes just how good of a year Paul Goldschmidt has put together here in this first half. It has been remarkable, the numbers that he is putting up. Comes in hitting .340 on the year. He's got the 19 home runs. He's driven in 65. Al was in our booth, and I said, hey, take a look at this.
He still is in our booth.
Average. You take a look at on-base percentage, hits, OPS, slug, extra base hits, total bases, and runs. The guy leading all those is at the plate.
I was shocked when I saw stuff like this, and you know, he still is quiet, and we watch him every day. But like I said, look at those stats, and you're like, wow,
jarring.
Oh, it's everything. It's every major category other than basically home runs and the RBIs, but those other categories are just as important.
And now a 0-2 pitch.
I'm just glad that I'm being facetious, but like the on base every game for the first 50 games of the year was kind of like eye opening, and I was like, wait, how long is this going to last?
It's incredible.
Like you just kept saying it every day. I'm thinking, man, it's really a stat? Is this possible?
And that is just off the plate. And sometimes if he's in a rut, he'll chase that pitch, Jimmy, and he has not done that for quite some time.
Well, he's the same as everyone else. When he thinks inside a little bit or he expects inside, he'll come off of the ball. But when he's not, he'll do exactly what you're seeing there, and he'll stay on his game plan, which is middle away.
And he'll hit 2-2 out of play.
He'll take those swings right there. That ball is let it travel, get deep, and just try to hit it as hard as you can the other way. And that's what really good hitting is all about. As soon as you leak thinking inside, you are done. And you cannot cover the plate. You cannot stay on the breaking ball. And that is why Paul Goldschmidt is such a good hitter. You hardly ever see that front hip leaking. And when you do, you see a swing and miss.
The 2-2 gets him on the inside corner.
It's a really nice pitch right there.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Nola and a 1-2-3 inning. We move to the second, 1-0 Phils. With Jim Hayes.
What do you got, Cat?
Danny, Ryan Helsley said he wasn't expecting it, but he wasn't ruling it out either. Helsley named the National League All-Star team yesterday. He found out he made it at a team meeting after the game. Helsley told me, Ollie called us all into the locker room. He announced Nolan, then right after he announced me. It was really cool to see the reaction of my teammates, especially guys like Nolan and Goldie who have been there before. It means a lot to have their support. Helsley said the best part was sharing the news with his family. He told me, I took a picture of the All-Star invitation and sent it to my wife and parents in a group text. It was kind of emotional. And Danny, you know this, Ryan coming off knee and elbow surgery, really great story.
Is a great story, and happy for him. And he is headed to the All-Star game, and it is richly deserved. He's had a heck of a year.
You know what? I think one of the coolest things that I could have experienced in my career is that very first All-Star game pick.
I bet.
I think it's that and the very first Gold Glove for me, because those are kind of individual achievements that tell you that people like the way you play the game. You know, somebody in the league respects you and likes the way you're doing your job. Even if it's for 1 year, somebody is coming after you and saying, hey, I want you, and I want to show you the respect that you deserve. And I think that is ultimately the best thing, because now all of a sudden you feel like, hey, I belong here, you know?
Out to right. Yepes there, the edge of the track, and makes the catch.
I mean, you can pitch all you want in the back of a bullpen, the front of the bullpen, wherever you want. You could be doing what Miles is doing and get no, recognition for it because of the record, so to speak. He could be, Helsley could be 0-2 and have a 0.009 ERA. It's just the way it works. And I think that the coolest thing was like going to that and looking around and say, man, I belong.
I belong.
That's
right.
Awesome. So for him, I think congratulations is a huge in order, and wow, that is going to be special for him.
Here's Gregorius after Realmuto flied to right field. Nolan Gorman gobbles it up, and the out. Well, to put it in perspective, Ryan Helsley has allowed a total of 13 hits this year. Total in 29 games. That is remarkable in itself. And for a guy that hits triple digits, he's only walked 12, struck out 54.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a great year. I was really excited to see that. It's funny, last night I went home and, there's obviously some issues around the neighborhood every now and then. I couldn't sleep, and I turned on the TV and saw that. So,
Everything taken care of at the neighborhood?
Well, I mean, a little bit bigger than our neighborhood, and we lost a young lady last night due to an accident. And so it's been a tough go around the house and around the younger crowd in St. Louis. And people that know who I'm talking about, we're all praying and thinking about every one of you and all you kids out there being safe.
There's Alec Bohm.
Been a tough night.
Bohm, a big series with the 2 home runs that he hit on Friday. 2 solo shots against Waino, and then provided the only run on Saturday with a sac fly and an RBI. 2 outs and nobody on. And the 3-1 pitch, Michaelis to Bohm, the third baseman for the Phillies. Fouled back off the mask. It looks like Kisner.
But if you are wondering, neighborhood is safe.
Excellent.
Thank you. Probably as long as I'm at work, it's safe. Oh, nice play. Take a bow. I like it. That man caught the ball, took a bow.
Gotta have those soft hands. The Souvenir, the 3-2. The curveball is lined into left center field. Over to cut it off. It'll be Carlson. Bohm thinking 2. The throw. Goodbye. Goodbye. And an outfield assist. Dylan Carlson right on the bag. He has played some tremendous defense. Filling in for Bader, and another big play from the Cardinal youngster Dylan Carlson. Spins, fires on the bag, and goodbye. The outfield assist for Dylan. And Bohm went in head first, so the trainer out to check on him, and hopefully he's okay.
Not the way he's holding his hand.
It looks like the Phillies may challenge here.
I think they can challenge all they want, but from the looks of that, I think they lost the player. That is not good.
Ooh, I'd say he's safe. That left hand went in hard to the bag.
Yeah,
That's where Gorman is
right
holding the tag because he even came off the bag. He's out.
Should have stayed on him the whole time.
Yep.
That was a hard one for me to watch. Didn't know what part to look at. The hand or the...
Well, you just hoping that it's not a broken bone, and maybe it's just a situation where you have a jammed wrist or fingers, and for Rob Thompson that could be a big loss. Clearly he's going to have to come out of this game.
Well, they keep showing it on the big screen, and you can't see if he's out or safe yet. So we're going to have to wait.
They're taking a long look at this. Now, if the Phillies could move Bierling out of center, put him at third. On their bench, they have got Herrera, who can play center. Also, Mickey Moniak, another one that could play in the outfield. Strong throw, though, by Dylan Carlson. And again, he's done a very fine job defensively for the Cardinals. And yeah, he's seeing the left hand. Saying, did you see the finger?
I said the knuckle, yeah. See his knuckle?
Yeah.
I can stop showing it now.
Keep showing it here on the video board, and there's apparently a couple of replay reviews that are fairly nasty when showing it in terms of his fingers.
Call it second base stands, runners out. Philadelphia loses their challenge.
Outfield assist for Carlson, but maybe a bigger loss for the Phils. It is here for $47.99. Watch all out of market regular season games live or on demand, plus MLB Big Inning. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Sale ends July 17th. MLB.tv for details. Jairo Munoz is now in for Bohm at third base. And for Carlson, his 5th outfield assist this year, 6th most among outfielders in the National League. But to the bigger point, it could be a massive loss for the Phillies.
If that's what we think it is, that's going to be a while. I mean, you don't just recover from broken parts like that, especially with your hands. It's just got to be so careful.
Well, Nola has been a workhorse for the Phils. He's gone at least 7+ in 6 consecutive starts. And here is an 0-2 pitch to Nolan Gorman. Out of play.
Nolan is slowly getting away from that pull-off mode a little bit. I think he has been one of those guys that's been pitched in a lot, been leaking just a little bit, and his swings are getting better and better and better.
And 0-2 in the air out to center. Bierling is back with room and makes the catch. Here's Dylan Carlson.
It's a pretty good swing on that changeup. Line drive 404 feet out there on a nose.
Albert Pujols on deck. And here is Dylan Carlson. Showing bunt up the third base line, and that'll be a base hit.
Wow.
Even with the third baseman Munoz in, he did that.
You see him put it out there, pull it back, and then I don't know if he did that because it was the breaking ball, or like he was almost like he was like, oh, I can still bunt this, and then I don't know if you can do that. You can't duplicate that again.
Perfect.
Oh, he just pulled it back. Is that what he's planning? Man, you can't bunt it any better than that. Nice job. Any harder, it might be a double.
And it brings in Albert, who looks as locked in as we've seen him this year. Would you agree?
Yes. Yesterday, pretty darn good.
Number 684 in terms of home runs hit yesterday, 5th most all time. And the first pitch to Albert Pujols. Breaking ball and a strike. It was number 450 as a Cardinal, second to Stan the Man with 475. His second 3-hit game of the year. 242 multi-hit games, and that's incredible when you think about the numbers for Albert, and a chance to make history tonight with an extra base hit. And a check on Carlson. Dylan with 4 stolen bases. The Cardinals 59 as a team.
Well, you were asking about taking pitches, and it was pretty clear yesterday that Albert was taking those fastballs that he had been swinging at all year and bought himself a good hitting count. Got some base hits and a homer. I'm telling you, you can just see it. Great guys take pitches, the way they stand. When that butt doesn't go out towards third base, and you start sticking the landing with your front foot, and you don't flinch on breaking balls, look out. Hard to do.
1 ball and 1 strike on Albert Pujols. Outfield deep straight away. The pitch. Big swing and a miss. His next extra base hit will break a tie with he and Stan the Man. It'll be number 1,378. Third all time in the history of baseball. And the 1-2 pitch. Check on Carlson.
Danny, I think that the Verling might be in a different zip code out there in center field.
He's very, very deep.
I would hate to say that about a local boy, but that's funny.
It's about as deep as you could play, and if it's over his head, it's over the wall.
It's way over the wall. He's in 6'3", 103, I believe. He's not in 02 anymore.
Oh, strikeout of Albert.
He knew it too.
Third strikeout for Nola.
Good stuff, man. This is a good pitch right here. He's just thinking a little bit off speed, maybe. He's got a couple different pitches. He's got that really big breaking ball, and sometimes you have to kind of look middle speed to be able to stay on everything. And if you get a good fastball that's in a good location, it's just too late, and you know it.
Nola right now, the first Philly with 6 starts of 7+ innings in a row since Cole Hamels back in the 2015 season. This guy is really good. Here's Corey Dickerson. Hitting 183, couple of home runs, and is driven in 11.
This might be another good spot right here if you're not feeling great. Push bunt again. Let me see if you can get a double out of the ball down the left field line.
So Matt Carpenter do that a few years ago here. Yeah.
And literally it was what Dylan just did, except for the pitch was I think it was a breaking ball, right, or a slider, and then you just kind of just give it a shove. Just let it go, see what happens. If all you have to do is get it to the grass, the back grass, and Dylan can keep on running.
And the 0-1 pitch to Dickerson. No balls and 2 strikes. And the 0-2 pitch by Nola. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. 2 Ks in the inning, 4 in 2 innings for Aaron Nola. Not make the All-Star team, and maybe it changes with some opt-outs, injuries, whatever. Those things do happen, and the highest WAR, the Kia player profile, you've got Goldie, Arenado, and then Tommy. Baseball Reference, the source on that, and we'll see if he does wind up getting to
it's like a horse, like a horse race right there. Goldie just came out from behind and just came around the corner flying. That's I don't know if I'm in between with that all-star stuff. I think that hopefully maybe at the end of this, with all of the stuff that has to happen for guys to get there and health and all that, that he gets a chance. But I'm on the verge of probably a snub, maybe not a snub, because I love him. I think he's worthy of it. But I think when you look at the 256 average, at bad timing for him. You know what I mean? If he's hitting 280, I think he's an all-star.
I think it's bad timing, the rut that he got in here.
That's what I mean.
But also, you know, what maybe hurt his chances is shifting from second base to short.
Well, and I think though, as a reserve, the coach can just pick you up and throw you out there wherever he wants, and you know he could play first base. You never know, but
and that's the beauty of it, being picked by the coaches and stuff. But the fact that just being there is the reward, and you play. If you don't even get in the game.
So Stott is the first out, and now Matt Vierling, followed by Schwarber. Home run hit by Hoskins back in the first, the only run tonight. Slow breaking ball drops in for a strike. When you arrive at the All-Star game, is it just nonstop events for the players? And I'm not talking about home run derby or anything like that. Edmund makes the play.
It's a lot. It's a lot of everything. It's you know, and it's even more so in certain cities. Like, and I'm not saying like LA, Hollywood. I'm saying like travel. Like, you know, traveling to, say, Detroit. We did it one year. We were stuck in San Francisco for a night game. But if you're going all the way East Coast, West Coast, and you're going to get in day of the first day, hopefully you can sneak out on Sunday night, but it's hard. And you just go. It's signing autographs. It's, you know, meet and greets and hanging out with the guys and the home run and the batting practice and the infield stuff and then the home run derby. And, you know, you feel like you need to be there for everything. And I think the more All-Star games you go to, you kind of take a deep breath and kind of slide out the door a little early. But even then, all the stuff before, I mean, you wouldn't believe the autograph table. I mean, it's as big as a locker room. You know, it's like walking into the size of a locker room full of just as much stuff as you can imagine. And you have to sign all of it. There's got to be 100 dozen baseballs in there.
1 ball, 1 strike on Schwarber. Struck out swinging first time up.
But your first time there, you're loving it.
Oh, yeah.
But it is nonstop. I think that's why you see some of the veterans sometimes that aren't feeling good will opt out, because a lot of times with the travel and then the health mode and guys that have been to more than 5, 6, 7, 10 of them, they go, oh, you know what? I'm still going to be an all-star, quote unquote. So I'm just going to stay, you know, I'm going to stay back.
And that is tap foul. I think Albert is going to eat it all up. He's going to love it. His final All-Star game. He's different this year, Jimmy. You know that. I mean, he's as relaxed as I have ever seen him, ever.
Yeah, I just passed him in the locker room right before the game started. I went down there to grab something, and he said, what happened to you? Why didn't you call me and tell me? I was like, well, I kind of respect the fact that you're playing every day. You know, like, here in the middle of the season, it was like he's just a different person this year.
4 strikeout for Michaelis, 1-0. A family foundation and their first ever get together, and John was sensational. And yes, Albert Pujols showed up to that. And it was David Freese, Albert, Daniel Descalso, Alan Craig, Cal McClellan there. And John put on a good show out at Family Golf and Learning Center, which is headed up by Adam Betts. And the neat part about it, they did it closest to the pin. Albert was not going to swing. And so they had competitors against the guys.
Yep.
Albert said, I'm not going to do it. Then he got there, changed his mind. And who wins closest to the pin?
He does.
Albert.
Of course.
So the winner was supposed to get, Jimmy, tickets and I think
passes maybe to the Champions Club or something like that. So I'm emceeing. I said, well, Albert, I'm not sure if you can get tickets, but you just won. So what would you like to do with this? And he said, well, I'll give those away, but I'd be happy to auction off to the highest bidder a couple of signed baseballs, a couple of bats, and raise money for the foundation. And
that's all out Tony La Russa style right there, on the fly.
So he did that. He was there for probably 3-4 hours along with the other guys, and John Jay doing great work. It's to benefit kids here and also in Miami, and
congratulations to John, who is one of our favorites. Really a fun night.
It's awesome.
There's Andrew Kisner. But it also goes to the point of saying Albert is a different guy. And not that he doesn't show up to charitable endeavors. He always did. But he's just so relaxed. Taking pictures with everybody, signing, smiling, happy. It's a great bookend to his career here in St. Louis. Kisner looks at a strike, and it's 0-2 after the ground out by Sosa. And the next hit out of play. Nola, first time through a lineup. The opposition hits just 169 against him. And so far he's had a bunt base hit against him. No walks. He has struck out 4. And the 0-2 pitch put in play by Kisner. Back to Nola. And he'll step and throw. And that's out number 2. This Friday, the Cardinals Bally Sports Midwest will pay tribute to local military men and women stationed across the globe serving our country. Join us to say thank you through the shared love of Cardinals baseball. That'll be Bally Sports Salutes and also Military Appreciation Night here at the ballpark. You get a themed ticket and you'll select a hat representing the military branch of your choice. There's a pregame concert. And a portion of each ticket sold is donated to USO Missouri. And that again is this Friday. Get that hat. Come on out. Support our military. A portion of each ticket sold donated to USO Missouri.
That is the coolest hat right there. Those guys are so awesome. So special.
And thank you to that man for his service.
My gosh.
And to all the men and women served in our military. And currently are serving in our military. 0-2 the count on Tommy Edman. I always feel it's the most important telecast that we do. For many years, this one's for you.
I've done that a couple times with you.
And Jimmy, for the longest time, there was no Skype or FaceTime. And it was the first time that families could hook up with their loved ones. We'd have a satellite there. And the 0-2 is popped up left side. Munoz with the catch in foul territory. And a 1-2-3 inning, and that's 5 in a row set down by Aaron Nola. On Bally Sports Midwest, brought to you by Ford, the official car truck of the Cardinals, and by Car Shield. Car Shield cars go farther. Beautiful night here in downtown St. Louis. 1-0. The Phillies have the lead as we move to the 4th. And it brings in Hoskins, who hit a 3-2 hanging slider into Big Mac land for the only run tonight. Katie Wu of The Athletic covers the Cardinals, reporting that Albert Pujols will participate in this year's Home Run Derby. I like it.
I saw that. I think that is going to be a must-see TV for me. I was going to not watch, and now I'm stuck. I have to watch.
That's going to be great.
That'll be cool.
We get the chance early to watch him take BP, and he still puts on a show.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Albert, if you need someone to throw you BP, I'm your man.
Danny wants to go.
I'm in. You just let me know.
He's in there listening.
Be happy to help out any way I can. The 1-2 up the middle and a base hit. Hoskins 2 for 2. Well, speaking of the Home Run Derby, enjoy the show with baseball's 2 biggest events back to back. Action begins T-Mobile Home Run Derby, ESPN, July 18th at 7 Central. Then catch baseball's biggest stars, the 92nd MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 19th on Fox, and coverage begins at 6 Central. You participated in a Home Run Derby.
I did. Had a blast.
Were you exhausted?
I was a little exhausted, but I overswung a little bit, and I had a little twinge in my shoulder. And I, like a lot of guys, came back after that not as healthy as I'd like to be. So at that point in my career, I decided one was enough.
Here's Castellanos and hits it out of play.
It's hard because it's like anything else. I don't think people realize, and you don't realize the adrenaline dump basically that goes through your body when you're in that kind of element. Like, you can come out here and hit, 7, 8 homers out of 15 pitches. You go there and you're swinging 4 times harder.
Double play ball, 6 for 3 as Goldie gets back down on the bag. 89 ground ball double plays turned by the Cardinals. And that is 12 ahead of the next team, Colorado. Castellanos has now hit into his 12th double play, and Michaelis has induced 8.
It's a good turn right here. Tommy takes his time, catches the ball. And with our no slide rule, or half the slide rule, you got all the time in the world at second base and you just throw it over there. But I think that you don't realize that even though guys don't look like they're coming out of their shoes, they are swinging so hard.
And Hall with a fly ball into deep left center. Carlson over. Oh, he made the catch! Dylan Carlson. He's got an outfield assist. And now a great play in left center. What a homestand he has had in center.
I'm telling you, this kid can play.
It's an 8-pitch inning for Michaelis. Well done, Dylan. T-Mobile coverage cam. Dylan Carlson has been all over the place in center. Single-handedly won the final game in Atlanta. And here this start of the homestand is playing outstanding defense. And Miles, Waino, Sosa, they love it. And the high fives inside that St. Louis dugout. Chris Conroy being Chris Conroy. The medical team of the Cardinals. And now it is Yepez. So you have 2, 3, and 4. Yepez, Goldschmidt, and Gorman. Another strike. So that is 34 pitches, a total of 5 balls tonight from Nola. Just pumping strikes. And a shift on the left side. Yepez struck out back in the first. And the 0-1. And Juan hits it in the air out to deep right center. Veerling back and with room. And he makes the catch. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from Tickets for Less.
Tickets for Less. For a better ticketing experience. Best seats, best prices, and no surprises at checkout.
And it brings in Paul Goldschmidt. Struck out looking, first time up. And Goldie puts it in play to short. D.D. Gregorius. Jimmy, I was talking with Albert last night at John Jay's event. He said, Danny Mac, he said, this ballpark has changed from when I was here last time. He said it is hard.
Yeah,
it's
big.
playing big.
Well, like I said, we all thought when we first moved into this ballpark it wasn't that big because he was on fire in April of 2006. But everything he hit was kind of down the line for a while, and then I'm thinking, wow, how's he doing this? And I was hitting balls in the air the other way and to dead center, and I was kind of going, yeah, this place is kind of playing big. It's cold, right? And he's blasting away. I'm like, okay, this is great. He's running away with this little bet we got going on, and then just as the time went on, started noticing that I'm just telling you, like, the gaps out there are just extending. Like, it's just the dimension that you don't really see.
What he mentioned, he said, I've had a couple of balls with an X amount of launch angle and the exit velocity was X, and he said anytime I've done that in the past, that's gone.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was talking about the other day. I said it's not guaranteed, but it should be. But I just feel like there's just a lot of extra room out there. You can't tell that's there.
6-pitch inning for Nola. And we head to inning number 5 and a beautiful night here at Busch.
Throwing and taking some BP today. He was cleared for full baseball activity today for the first time since getting hit by a pitch on the right wrist in a rehab game. Tyler told me today was a big day for sure, and getting tested out and getting cleared. Everything felt good with everything I did. The big thing is going to be recovering tomorrow, but I have no doubts I'll be ready to go. Dan, Tyler says he hopes he can go right back into the lineup. He doesn't want to go back down.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. He's just down there, then obviously hit by that pitch. Set him back, and the Cardinals need him back. And Bader. Quickly.
Yeah, he was walking around down there today. He looked pretty good. I mean, he's in good spirits, ready to go. So see how fast he can get ready.
JT Realmuto. Remember, Miles had a 26-pitch first inning, and now he's had 60 on the night. 2 balls, no strikes. JT flied to right field first time up. And the 2-0. Foul back.
Ouch. Dang it. You know what's amazing to me with Miles is he always figures it out. He always figures out what went wrong in the first inning, and it's usually not home runs. Thank you that it was a little glancing blow right there. But with his mechanics, he will always come back out and fix the problem. And if it's a lot of pitches, he'll come back and he'll throw more strikes. And if he's getting hit, he'll come back and he'll throw around the zone a little bit more.
Lined over Tommy Edman and into left field, and a base hit. Realmuto. Ball was blistered into left. And the 4th hit for the Phils tonight.
Just missed over the plate right there, and just barely over Tommy.
And it brings in Didi Gregorius. Realmuto is a base stealing threat. He's got 11 on the year. With men on, Michaelis, the opposition only hitting .215 against him. He's been very good. Gregorius grounded out to second baseman Nolan Gorman, first time up. Well, through the ups and downs of this 2-week period, you look up and the Cardinals are only 2.5 games out. Without O'Neill, without Bader, without Flaherty, who was transferred to the 60-day IL. The swing and a miss.
And by the way, speaking of which, what was I talking about yesterday about the Atlanta and the Mets? Did you see that? Blink of an eye, and they are now just 1.5 back. So
that's right.
That race is going to come together quicker than I thought it was. I said, what I say, end of July, maybe mid-August, you'll see these 3 teams neck and neck, and now 2 days later, Atlanta is 1.5 back. So that's what you have when you're playing in another division and you're going to other cities. I think it's worth taking a glance at, hey, where are they and who have they been playing and what are they doing? What are they chasing?
High fly ball into right. Carlson takes charge. Calls off Yepez and gets it back quickly into the infield.
That's a very, very long run, a very good play, and a very smart play by Dylan Carlson. 1, he knows it's Yepez out there. 2, did you see him looking at him and saying, did you see that ball? Can you see yet? Is everything okay? Because there's still sun out there. If you look right now at Yepez, he's still in the sun. And so, smart player, I'm telling you, we talk about it. I think sometimes when he's in right field, you forget he's out there and how smart he is. But he's one of those guys that puts it all together, and when he gets a chance in center field, he's kind of showing it.
There's not a ton of sun left there hitting the field, but
Yepez is finding it.
Right on his spot. Can they turn 2? Munoz beats it out. First at bat for Jairo Munoz, who's now filling in for Alec Bohm, who hurt his hand. BJC injury report as we go around the league. Whit Merrifield, bone bruise, ligament swelling in his toe. 553 consecutive game streak comes to an end. The outstanding second baseman, outfielder of the Kansas City Royals. You hear now about load management. I'm not sure we're going to have many guys play that long. 553 consecutive games.
That's a freak little injury, and sure that if he was in the Cal Ripken era days that he would probably just shoot it up, keep going. But, you know, and it depends on what position you're playing too. Can you move around enough to play your position? If you're a first baseman, probably a little bit easier to play with injuries like that, but not guys that can run.
Now Bryson Stott grounded out to second. 2 outs and a runner at first. Stott 1 for 4 head-to-head against Michaelis. 0 for 1 tonight. The Dodgers will be in town tomorrow. First of 3 against LA. And then Cincinnati. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lowest career ERA at this ballpark. And Miles Michaelis is in the top 5. John Lackey just above 2. Then Dakota Hudson, Shelby Miller, Chris Carpenter, and Miles Michaelis.
You got me with a couple of them, but a couple of the other ones I would have been dead on with you. I wouldn't have got Shelby Miller.
Then you wouldn't have gotten Lackey.
And I wouldn't have gotten Lackey.
Number 1.
That's unbelievable. How many games you have to be to get that?
It was at least.
How many does Lackey have?
175 minimum, 175 innings pitched.
Okay.
So he was at 181.
I was going to say he's got to be the lowest by far, obviously, right?
Close is Hudson, but then you get into Miller was at 208. Clark was near 500, and Michaelis near 290. 1-0. And it's going to be a very busy weekend for Matt and Leslie Holiday. As Saturday they'll be here, and then Sunday their son will go in the MLB draft. Could be the top pick. He might be 2, but he's definitely going to be at the very, very top of that first round. And I had a long conversation with Matt today, and Major League Baseball likes it at times when prospects or potential top picks are at the venue in which they're doing the draft. And Matt said that his son preferred to be home.
Don't doubt it.
And a line drive into right and a base hit for Dylan Carlson.
But that is the Holiday way. I mean, they are the most easygoing, nicest, family-oriented kind of low-key family that there is out there, especially for a guy who's a superstar.
Yeah.
And a wife who is the superstar of the house. How the kids fall right in place with that same thing. That does not surprise me. And by the way, too, it will floor me if he's not in the top 2 or 3 picks.
I agree.
I will fall off my chair from everything that I've read and heard.
Well, 2 hits tonight, and both off the bat of Dylan Carlson. Now it's Albert Pujols. Struck out looking at a fastball first time up. And that pitch taken low. Had been 8 in a row set down by Nova. That's the first ball on a first pitch to a batter in this ball game by Nova. 14 of 15. Slowly hit up the third base line, but foul. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. I asked Matt today, I said, are you ready to go for your speech? And he said, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
He said, you know.
He's got a big year.
He said, Dan, if you were interviewing me, no problem. But then you asked me to get up there and speak. I said, man, that's hard stuff. Well, he said, there's a lot of emotion, though, and memories coming back as he's recalling his 7.5 years here in St. Louis.
Well, I think he might be cried out by the time Sunday comes around. But you think about, I think that's a nervous, you know, he's not a very outgoing person, by the way. Even his wife will tell you behind his back, he's a very fidgety, like not a good public person. He likes to be behind the scenes. He likes to be quiet. Kind of not fidgety, but like, you know,
like
he doesn't like anything like that. He's very, very unassuming. And so he's got Christian Day, which is Christian Day that's coming up, which he's going to have to speak. His son is going to be one of the top 2 or 3 picks in the draft. And then he's going into the Cardinals Hall of Fame all within, what, a couple of weeks maybe, or a month? I mean, wow.
About a month, yeah.
Good luck, Matt, if you're listening.
He doesn't miss many of our games.
I can't wait to see Leslie. And just, if I could just get those 10 seconds of, can you believe what he's going to go through in the next
4 or 5 weeks? She's going to start laughing out loud.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Albert Pujols. 3-1. So slipped a fastball by him on the previous at bat. What does he do here?
You can tell. I was just going to say, you can tell by Nola, even though he's 93, 94, 95, has got some jump to it, a little late life, maybe a little hard to pick up because of the way he kind of, it almost looked like his ball jumps out of his hand because of everyone's reactions are a little bit jumpy. They're a little bit, they want to kind of attack first, and it's a little bit out in front. And that's why that breaking ball is so impressive, too.
And the 3-1.
You can see, like, you can tell, like, keep going back to this. It's a great story, and I never heard it until after I was done playing. But the hitters will let you know. And it was one guy on the mound throwing, and I was standing behind the cage, and I was like, oh, he looks pretty good. And they said, well, the hitters will let you know when the season starts.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like on somebody that was unproven, that was about to make, break the starting lineup or break the starting rotation as they broke spring training, and they said, well, the hitters will let you know soon enough. And that's never been more of a true statement. And right now you can see the hitters are telling you that his fastball has got some jump to it.
Assume that you would start Carlson to try to avoid potential of a double play. 3-2 the count.
He doesn't hit into double plays, does he?
He's hit into a few, like the most ever.
Ever.
Only 420. He's hitting rockets everywhere. They turn 2.
He's trying to catch up to the home run.
Let's see what Albert can do here. Dylan is running, and Albert hits it up the middle. Diving stop. Gregorius, and from his knee, makes the play. What a play there. Didi Gregorius robbing Albert Pujols. Don't miss your chance to get discounted Cardinal tickets, 8 or more gallons of gas at a participating station using the My Phillips 66 app. Get up to 50% off Cardinal tickets. Phillips66gas.com/Cardinals. Runner at second. Dylan Carlson, and now Corey Dickerson. Struck out as Nola went right at him with fastballs first time. Jimmy, when you say that the hitters will let you know, it makes me think about when I would talk to scouts at times, and you'd have variations of the fastball.
Yeah.
And I'd say the same thing, man. This guy, ball's jumping out of his hand. Yeah, we're getting this reading, that reading. Hitters will let us know, though.
Yeah, it is true. Well, I think it's happened in the past. I think Milwaukee comes to mind with some of their guys that you know when you're doing the game, you're like, he's only throwing 92, but he is blowing guys away. And so that's either like hiding the ball, or sometimes guys off-speed stuff are so good that you get in between a lot. And so one of those two things. But you're definitely dead on when you say the hitters will let you know, because as of right now, when they say like the heat index, well, his heat index of his fastball is playing at about 97, 98.
Into center and down, a base hit. Here comes Carlson. Throw by Vierling offline, and the game is tied. Corey Dickerson ties it at 1.
And with the base running to boot. That is a great play right there, going to second base. And I'll tell you why, mostly because I think he sees that this ball's hit on a 1-hop, 2-hop to the center fielder, and he's got some momentum. And so Dylan has a chance to be thrown out at the plate. Also, Dickerson knows that Dylan has got a bad wheel, and so he just keeps running. Hopefully they'll just cut this off, and when they don't, he just walks into second. And he's smelling it right there. Look at Newt. Unless he's left eating with his mouth closed.
So 1 out runner at second, and here is Edmundo Sosa. Average against Nola with runners in scoring position, 286. Fastball and a strike. Sosa grounded out to third, first time up.
And by the way, if you're the pitching coach in Philly and you just witnessed those last 2 at bats by Dickerson, do you ask the pitcher, what were you thinking with the changeup right there?
Going fastball.
Just give me the good explanation. I want to hear it, because someone's off target right there, either the guy behind the plate or the guy on the mound.
I mean, the first at bat, he was getting 93, 94 and blew it right by him.
Not even close.
Yeah.
And a great job by Dickerson staying with a game plan, even though you did get basically beat by the fastball. Didn't really change much, because if you get beat by the fastball, you come out swinging harder. And he stayed with it and got a pitch to hit.
Ooh. Down the left field line and foul. It's one of the rare times he has hung a breaking ball tonight.
He's got a good one, and I think that thing it's like the knuckle curve, right? And you can see it when it comes out of the glove. And like I said, I make those, the references of the Nintendo curveballs and stuff are funny, because that's kind of the saying when you're out there on the field, when you see guys with really good sliders, it just kind of looks like it just jumps out of his hand and it just bites and comes down hard.
One ball and 2 strikes. Dickerson, the runner at second base, and the next to Sosa. Fouled back.
And
the nice crowd here tonight at Busch Stadium, and again, it's the season-long 10-game homestand. Game number 4 here tonight of the 10 games.
And randomly, that breaking ball that he hung had the best spin rate of the entire night at 2,800 RPM. 2,800. It just stayed up.
Yeah. Big gap in left center, and the 1-2 pitch to Sosa. Hits it out to deep left field. That ball will get down. One hops off the wall. Dickerson will score. Sosa into second base, and the Cardinals lead it 2-1.
Yeah, this is another unique situation. He just turned on a breaking ball, and I guess you got to believe that your breaking ball is not going to be the same the second time, but he's all over the second one and yanks it in the corner for a double. It just is kind of confusing to me with the fastball that he's been throwing, and that ball is down. To me, you got to read the situation. What do you say? You read the room, right? Well, that right there, first breaking ball. If I'm sitting on the field, I'm saying, man, Sosa's a breaking ball hitter, huh? Like, there's just no way, with watching the game and him throwing balls by everyone, the guy just jumps on a breaking ball that easily and without saying, oh, he's a good breaking ball hitter. So you don't want to throw him another one. I think he tried to get him to chase, and it didn't get down, even though it was below the zone. Not enough.
Now Kisner. Bounce back to Nola. First time up in the third, 0 for 1. Foul back. Cardinals trying to get any type of production from their catchers offensively since Yachty left, collectively hitting .113 with 1 extra base hit. The OPS is .337. Cardinals are 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position in the series. 2 for 2 tonight. Off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. Big hit by Sosa, who entered play tonight 3 for 30 with runners in scoring position. And he has put the Cardinals on top. Driving in Corey Dickerson, who brought in Dylan Carlson. That tied it. And the 1-1.
Now that's the breaking ball right there. do you think up the ladder right here?
Yep. Fastball.
Got good fastball. You've been able to get it by him. He's had a good swing. You get the breaking ball. And I think if you're the hitter, you got to be thinking that breaking ball's probably coming, and that's why I would go the opposite direction, but out of the zone. And you know where the best place for that too is just a little bit up and a little bit away.
Pitch number 58 from Nola coming up here.
You don't want to risk hitting anyone. You don't want to risk throwing the ball down the middle. Here comes the breaking ball though. Well,
and it's hit out of play.
Looked like his knuckle was up right there in the back.
A little bit, but
he switched it, or he just let it fly.
Austin Nola pitched at LSU. Well, Austin is the brother, I should say. Aaron pitched at LSU, drafted by Toronto, 22nd round out of Catholic High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Little flare into shallow right, and it will get down. Kisner, a blue base hit, and a run will score. And it's 3-1 St. Louis. Oh, did he need that?
If I was a betting man, I would have thrown some money on this one. Danny, I just told the truck that Kisner is going to bloop a fastball inside over the first baseman's head, and I'm kidding you not.
Well,
and
why
he
didn't
just
you
did
say it on the air?
Because we're having a little game inside the game in here. But I am not shocked, but that's a good at bat by Kisner, and I am. Somebody owes me lunch.
Well, what did you see? What made you think that?
The first swing by Kiz I thought was a really good swing, and he has been off balance for a long time, and I feel like all of a sudden that swing was like good balance, and I thought, well, at least one thing he can do is he can get the bat to the fastball. Whether he gets jammed or not, he doesn't care about getting jammed. Other guys pull off because they don't want to get jammed, so he'll fight it through it. So that's why I was saying, if you're going to go with the fastball, you got to get it out of the zone to him. Breaking ball is fine anywhere, but I can't believe Brian Shapiro and I were having a little conversation, and I cannot believe that just happened.
Brian Shapiro, our producer tonight. Here's Tommy Edman back to the top of the lineup. 4 hits in the inning, 3 in a row for St. Louis. And Tommy is 0 for 2. Kisner's first run batted in since June 18th. That snaps the second longest drought of his career. He's at first base, and the Cardinals have a 3-1 lead. They've out hit the Phillies now 5-4. Nola was the 7th overall pick in the 2014 draft. He's in the last year of a 4-year deal. 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1. Edman to second, knocked down by Stott, and that's all they're going to get. Good play though by Bryson Stott, and a bullet hit to him, was able to knock it down.
I don't really know if that's a good play or that was self-defense right there. He couldn't get out of the way, and I think that kind of hurt a little bit, but you got to tip your hat for him wearing it, because that's basically what he did, and that is going to leave a mark. You've ever seen those seams on somebody's skin? That's what that's going to look like after the game. But great play.
See Rob Manfred's signature on him.
Staying right in there, though. You got to tip your hat. Nice play, young man.
They almost turned 2 and one of the fastest players in the league.
Well, he sticks that to his body a little bit better. That's a double play.
See if Tommy wants to do some running. He's got 19 stolen bases to lead the Cardinals. Shift on the left side. And Juan Yepes at the plate. Edman back in safely. Juan is struck out swinging and also flied out to deep right center.
And Danny, I wanted to further the Kisner situation, and I think it's just like, you know how you talk about paying attention to what's going on, and over the years, let's say, you just retain that information. Like I kid you all the time about you've been doing this since the 30s because you have retained so much information. It's just if you take a certain pitcher versus a certain hitter and a ball gets into a certain area, there's only so many things that can happen. And I used to play defense that way because when you watch the really good players, they're always doing the same thing on the highlights. They're hitting the same pitch in the same location for the same result, which usually is the home run or the double. So when I would see those guys come up against the guy that had that type of ball, it's a good jump right there by Tommy. With the guy who had that type of pitch, I would back up. I was like, oh boy, here it comes. I could see it develop.
Yeah.
And so that same kind of thing, I thought, Kisner's not afraid to get jammed, and he's going to challenge him. And unless he gets way out in front of one, he's going to just stay inside it and take that little base hit. It's kind of like when you see the home run or the extra inning you call a walk-off or just whatever. You can kind of see it developing. And you've seen enough games. We're kind of like it's like a perfect storm. The pitcher versus the hitter is the matchup you want to see.
Sure. You got any thoughts on what Yepez is going to do 0-2? You're getting everything else.
Ooh,
so
well, I just hope he stays closed as long as he can.
Well, it's nearly 30 pitches in this inning for Nola. He's at 64. They're stretching in the Phil's bullpen, but no one throwing.
I'm going to go with probably the breaking ball here, down and away, or maybe the fastball off. That's what I mean by the fastball right there.
Yeah.
It's got to be on the edge of the plate and up. It can't be on the plate and up. It has to be both out and up. You get the panic chase right there, and you can't reach it.
Room on the right side, shift on the infield, and it's pulled foul.
Change up right there.
Yep. Even with 2 strikes with Tommy Edman running, I don't mind that, because then if he strikes out, whatever, you've got Yepez coming up. Be aggressive. Why not?
And he's another guy too. If you throw him a fastball middle in and he stays inside it, he's strong enough and he'll jam himself and you'll get a little flare. Look at second base. I mean, you have to think, if I get a fastball here, all I have to do is stay inside the ball. I'm not trying to get jammed, but I'm also not trying to pull off. So if I do hit it to the right side, it's a free base hit.
And the 1-2 pitch to Juan Yepez. Fouled back. Realmuto, by the way, one of the best at getting the base stealers of the year. He's at 48%. His career percentage 36. And a lot of that has to do with his athleticism. Average and pop time to second base is 1.82. So catch it, pop, throw. I mean, that is moving. And that's the best in baseball.
It's been that way for quite a while, I think, too.
And time called. Boy, Juan does this a lot. With 2 strikes, he'll step out, makes that pitcher think. Maybe he wants to think a little bit and slow it down.
I played with one of my favorite players who wasn't a superstar, and he read the pitcher so well that when the pitcher would come set in the stretch, if he didn't see what he wanted to see, he would call timeout.
What else did Eduardo do? Just a guess. Jimmy just put his headset down and left laughing. Dickerson, Sosa, Kisner all with RBIs. And the Cardinals lead it 3-1. We head to the 6th. 6th inning here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Now, Jimmy, I'm thinking about a very good friend of ours tonight, and he's told me last couple of weeks the baseball games are getting him through a very, very tough time. And it's our friend Jeff Burton, who works at 105.7 The Point and the very popular Riz Show at The Point. And Jeff has been a buddy of mine for many, many years, going through a really difficult time. And we're thinking about you, Jeff, and we know you're going to pull through, and we love you very much. But keep hanging in there, keep fighting.
Absolutely.
There's Matt Vierling, who grounded out to short, and on an 0-2 pitch, a base hit out to left, went down to get it.
Good piece of hitting right there.
Well, we have a moment. Quick word from Ryan Kelly.
This Ryan Kelly.
Can you believe this guy started his business like that, just knocking on doors?
Now he's the best in the industry. Ryan Kelly, thehomeloanexpert.com.
A base hit to left, and now Schwarber representing the tying run. 0 for 2 tonight. Couple of strikeouts.
Can't wait to hear from the. What do you got, Cat?
We throw it down to Jimmy.
I love it. I just think he's got the stuff sometimes, man. When there's something going on, you know.
Oh yeah.
He's got the inside scoop. Maybe you should switch nicknames. Give him the scoop, and you can take the Cat.
Here's a 1-0 pitch, and it is 1 ball and 1 strike.
He was trying to get him over right there.
Since June 1st, there's 2 players with 20 or more extra base hits, and they're both with the Phillies, and this is one of them. Schwarber and the other, Rhys Hoskins. Schwarber 23. Since June 1st, he scored 34 runs, so he's picked it up. The loss of Bryce Harper, they're hoping to get him back in the middle of August, and they're going to miss Alec Bohm. Little squibber and a one-hopper out there. The turn. It's 2. A double play. Took a while to develop. Sosa had to hang in there with all the English on that baseball, and the Cardinals have turned their second double play tonight.
It was a 5-6-3 double play.
The home run hit by Hoskins back in the first inning. The slider on a 3-2 pitch that made it 1-0, and StatCast powered by Google Cloud.
I would love to see the StatCast powered by Google Cloud on how many 5-6-3 double plays there's been in the league.
Oh, I bet we can find it, Jimmy. It came with the shift. It's very, very uncomfortable at times for the shortstop to make that turn. It depends how exaggerated the shift is. 2 balls, no strikes on Hoskins. 2 for 2 with the home run and the single in the 4th inning. Cardinals shift on the left side of the infield. Pitch number 79 from Michaelis. Good pitch. 2-1. That is painted on the outside corner.
It's like when he throws that ball and it stays, it doesn't run, it sticks. It looks so perfect.
And the 2-1 is pulled foul this season. Only the 4th time in franchise history the Cardinals have turned 90 or more ground ball double plays in the first half. They did it in 1974, and that was with a lot of games on the turf, AstroTurf. They did it in 2013, 05, and this club with 90. And a 2-2 pitch coming out from Michaelis. Full count. Three-two. What a play here. Sosa to his left, gets up and robs Rhys Hoskins, the hot corner. Couple of different plays for Sosa to start. The double play and the hot shot hit to third. Nicely done, Edmundo. 3-1. Of last year's postseason, winner take all. The Dodgers in St. Louis beginning tomorrow night. The Budweiser What's on Tap and the start of a 3-game series. Dodgers, Cardinals on Bally Sports. Just selling it, Jimmy.
I like it. That was a good one.
Thank you. Here's Goldie. And the 1-0. 1 ball and 1 strike. The long inning back in the 5th. Pitch count now has jumped to 70 for Nola. And the 1-1. Hit out of play, and it's 1-2. Pitch by pitch back in the first at bat.
We were talking about right here. Check out this quick look right here. Everything away, away, away. He stays on everything, and then bam. The only pitch that's going to get him out right there is that pitch. And as a hitter, you have to tip your hat and come back and say you can't make that pitch again. And I'm going to stay with my game plan.
Check swing, and he went. Strikeout of Goldie.
But I just thought that was very interesting because he stayed away, away, away. And you were even saying Goldie looks like he's pretty locked in. He's staying on it. He had some good swings. And then
on the flip side, that pitch probably got that swing right there too. So it's a back and forth game all day long between a hitter and a pitcher.
There's Nolan Gorman as Albert is talking with Yepez, and I know we all find that shocking. Gorman rips it foul. Nola was an all-star in 2018, and he finished 3rd in the Cy Young Award that season. The 0-1. And normally he's really racking up a bunch of strikeouts. He struck out at least 220 in the 18, 19, and 21 seasons. And that year in the Cy Young, he finished only behind Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer. Shift on the right side, big gap left side in the 0-2. Outfield is deep, the 1-2. So in on the previous pitch, that's out. Evens it up at 2-2. Gorman is lined out to center and grounded out to second. The 2-2. Full count. Carlson is 2 for 2. He's on deck. It's about time for a long Nolan Gorman home run. And a strikeout. Tailing away with a good pitch that breaks away from Gorman, and the strikeout back to back, and that's 6.
Oh, he's got that good fastball that really just jumps out of his hand.
Well, the night for Dylan Carlson, a bunt base hit up the third base line. Then this catch off the bat of Derek Hall in center.
What I tell you about getting in the air when you get near the wall, it's kind of slow you down just enough.
And Dylan had a base hit to right, scored a run. That was in the 5th. And now because he drops down that bunt, the defensive alignment has to change.
A little bit, yeah.
Munoz has to be honest down there at third.
Giveaway hits, but I mean, now you got a 3-1 lead, so you don't have to press for that.
Here's a 1-0.
We've seen his at-bats have changed a little bit lately. He looks like he's been working on the balance. I think his front side is starting to stay closed again. He's taking pitches down there that he was swinging at a lot. Said he's really trying to stay back, working on staying back instead of kind of falling over. A couple of those swings he had last week, he was just really just flailing at the ball, and you could see he's way out on his front foot. Not so much the last night or two.
And the 2-1 pitch. This is about the time, Jimmy, that last year he got hot. Had a really good second half.
Well, you know, it's a learning experience,
especially at 23, 24 years old. And
you know, sometimes it takes a while to click, even during the season, or you can go up and down because you see the other guys making adjustments to your adjustments from the year before. So it's just, you always have to be on your toes and be willing to change or work on things, or just really try to stay consistent.
Out of play.
I think consistency is the hardest thing for hitters. I think it's the one thing that if you really had to talk about like a golf swing, let's say, it's very similar, I believe. It's all about balance, right? And so I'm saying, like, I'm the super amateur golfer, but I do know that you have to have some balance. And then hitting, if you can stay in the same balance point longer, you have more success because you will be able to stay on more pitches.
And the 2-2 on a hop hit to second baseman Bryson Stott. And a 1-2-3 for Nola sends us to the 7th. Cardinals on top. Phillies pitching into the 7th inning. Our BJC Healthcare difference maker for St. Louis. And remember, that first inning was 26 pitches. Gave up a home run, did strike out 3, but the pitch count for one inning for Miles was high, 26. And since then, 13, 11, 8, 11, 13. And it adds up to 82, 52 of which have been strikes.
Like you said, like I said, this guy can make some adjustments, especially with his mechanics in the strike zone. Well, can he keep runs off the board? That's one question. And then can you score runs for him? That's the other question. But he will make the adjustment to stay in the game as long as possible.
Three, 4, and 5. Castellanos is struck out, grounded into a double play, 6-4-3. And the 1-1. Grounded foul. We have Helsley. He's gone in back-to-back games, so you'd have to assume he's down. Hicks probably down as well. But the Cardinals have had a change in their roster. More on that in a moment. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5. Jimmy, there's been a change with the bullpen and the roster. What's happening?
TJ McFarland activated today. He had been rehabbing after about a COVID. TJ made 3 appearances for Memphis, turned in 3 scoreless innings. TJ says it's kind of a reset for him. He told me no one wants to get sick, but maybe the silver lining is I get to reset a little. I had some really good outings at Memphis, a lot of ground balls, a lot of covering first base. I got back to being myself. Dan, TJ says right now he feels like he has a better feel for his sinker, and that's obviously important for him.
And the Cardinals, with a corresponding move, sent Thompson back down to Memphis. And in talking with Ollie today, the idea would be to stretch him out. McFarland is back, and we saw in the second half of last year he can be quite the weapon for the Cardinals.
Well, yeah, I think that, you know, you can look at these guys with 2 different ways, right? When you see guys that are strong with sinkers, if they're too strong, the sinker doesn't work as well. But also, if they're not strong and they pitch every day, they might be trying to overdo it and lose the sinker that way. So if you have a veteran who can stay healthy and stay strong, he knows enough to make his sinker work, and that's kind of what he missed.
On the ground to Paul Goldschmidt, and Derek Hall is out number 2, and it brings in JT Realmuto. Cardinals and Reds Friday night, and 25,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a specially designed all over print Cardinals hat, courtesy of Brown and Crouppen. Oh, you can dress to impress. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions for this Friday night. 2 outs, Realmuto. Cardinals in their half of the 7th will have Pujols, Dickerson, and Sosa. Off the plate for a ball. It's been a good zone by Jeremy Riggs tonight.
I think he's been very consistent.
Yes.
You're right. I think that, you know, there was something early maybe up that you would want And then I think really he's only called 1 strike out of the zone, which is unheard of these days.
Well, Ollie was kind of looking at his charts down there. He's going to have a decision to make if Miles can get through this man here and stay, let's say, under 95. Well, that's going to complicate it, but do you stay with Michaelis, try to squeeze one more inning out of him, and then try to have Gallegos ready to maybe either complete the 8th or just for the 9th? We'll see.
Well, I think, like you said, we only know what he knows as far as the guys that are healthy, but you are right. You probably do not have Helsley or Hicks. And Oviedo yesterday also 22 pitches, so
I would think Cabrera, though, is available.
Yeah, Hicks and Helsley back-to-back days, and then only a day off with another day thrown. So they've thrown 3 out of the last 4. So I would definitely think that those guys are not going to be anywhere near the game tonight. But you never know.
We shall see. Didi Gregorius 0 for 2. And he is grounded out to second and also flied out with a runner on to center. 0 for 2.
On your cue, Cabrera starts to play a little catch.
I think that guy could pitch every day.
It seems like it, doesn't it?
It's unreal.
It's not like the velocity never drops.
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe I think guys are very consistent with their work ethic and their ability, but sometimes you just see guys with the velocity down and you think, what happened? Never.
Oh, nice hands. Nolan Gorman on a short up. It's a heck of a play right there.
Wow.
Time to stretch here at Busch, and it's 3-1. Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And only St. Louis Children's, Missouri's #1 pediatric hospital. Stan the Man statue just outside the main entrance here at Busch Stadium. 3-1 our score. And from Stan, we go to Albert. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Pujols called out on strikes in the 2nd. And then a diving stop at short by Gregorius. His 3rd time up. First pitch. And Pujols hits it down the right field line. It's slicing. It is off the top of the wall. Albert digging for 2. 3rd all-time in extra base hits in Major League history. A double off the wall in right. 1,378 extra base hits. He passes Stan the Man, 3rd all-time in Major League history.
An inch short of being a home run. What a swing. See the finish there, Danny? That's beautiful. The finish of a guy not worried about the ball inside all of a sudden anymore. And look at this. Oh, wow. Gosh. It just kept going. That's backspin. The ball just kept going and going and going.
A historic double for Albert Pujols. Now 3rd all-time, all alone. Wow. 1,378 extra base hits. Congratulations, Albert. Corey Dickerson. And Dickerson with a high fly ball into deep right field. Castellanos back at the wall. Gone! 2-run blast. Dickerson.
He's driven in 3 tonight. Corey Dickerson with his 3rd home run. And it's opened up a 5-1 St. Louis lead.
Isn't it amazing the excitement a home run can bring? Ball's carrying tonight. That's that hot weather without the humidity.
I still can't believe Albert's ball, one, went that far, but then two, he was an inch short of having a homer. I kind of like the homer versus the double, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Take the extra base hit, but the homer.
Do it in a
in a home run fashion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to mess around and start playing him more often.
0-1 pitch, and thanks to the Gateway Honda dealers and Corey Dickerson, $1,000 has been donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri with that 2-run homer by Corey Dickerson, and he has driven in 3. The 0-2 popped up and out of play. The hug there for Pujols, and the man that hugged him, Chris Conroy, who we talked about earlier, will put the inscription on that baseball, historic baseball. Swing and a miss. And the strikeout, number 7, Corey Dickerson. But they need something from him. They got to get him going. And he's come through tonight.
Yeah, I'm just such a great turnaround right there. I think about, like, it still, to me, I still remember standing out there on the field and watching the 2-1 and 3-1 games going, man, we're just a walk and a swing away from being in a tie game. You got to generate another run somehow, at least one. So you're not just 2 hitters away from a tie game, you know, because anything can happen in 2 hitters. 3 and 4 hitters, 5 hitters in a row, that's a little tougher. What do they say? Is it the 2-goal lead in hockey? Or is it
dangerous?
Yeah, it's like.
And the 0-1 pop back and foul by Dickerson. Cabrera was throwing, now he sits, and he got a little breathing room here. But if he ran into any kind of trouble with Miles, he'd get up, get hot, and go in a hurry. Always studying is Albert Pujols. His swings have just been so much better here in the last week or so.
And that's exactly what he's watching. He's watching his balance point, his contact area, his extension. And I'm hoping he's watching the fact that when he finished a little bit over the plate. Because if you're going to drive the ball the other way and you're going to be successful, you have to go towards the plate. You cannot go towards left field.
Two and 2. 5 runs allowed. That ties Nola's season high. He's done it a couple of times against Seattle and San Francisco. 5 earned tonight. And our crowd is 34,399. 34399. Put in play, hit to short. Gregorius. He is a smooth customer there at short. Makes that play. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from St. Louis Children's.
St. Louis Children's Hospital, the only place where Washington University physicians have gathered from across the globe, discovering and developing life-changing treatments for kids.
I think he's next. I think this is the next guy to get hot. Whether it's now or with the All-Star break.
Ground ball that's hit to the second baseman. Tommy Edman retired. Albert Pujols, extra base hit. 1,378. Passing Stan the Man, third all time in extra base hits. Dickerson the bomb, and it's 5-1. Presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals, not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Lars Nootbaar takes over in right field. He'll bat second in the Cardinal lineup for Juan Yepez. It's Munoz, Stott, Vierling, 7, 8, 9 for the Phillies. 1 ball, 1 strike. Munoz grounded out his first time up into a fielder's choice. Came in place of Alec Bohm. That's a major concern right now for the Phillies, not only being down 5-1, but we're still awaiting word on what's happened to Bohm. But he went in head first slide, and it looked like nasty with the fingers. Not good. The 2-1. Fly ball into right field. Baseball will find you. Just coming in the game, and Nootbaar is there. Stubba proud to be the official partner of the Cardinals. Plans change. You can easily list your tickets with StubHub. Even use the free seller toolkit to help manage the price of your tickets. StubHub. Sell your tickets in just a few taps without any stress. Download the StubHub app today.
Danny, it looks like we're going to have a pitching change.
The lefty Stott due up. Cabrera is hot, ready to go.
Great job by Miles. Of the fans. Give him a little standing O.
Michaelis, and they'll hug it out. The starters and the bench. Michaelis, the Cardinals, with a 5-1 lead, and he gives the Cardinals 7 1/3 here tonight. Turns it over to Genesis Cabrera, our Chevy call to the pen. His 27th appearance, pitched a couple of days ago, 2/3 of an inning. No hits, no runs, walked a pair, struck out 2 in 24 pitches in that appearance, back off the IL. Well, just feels like you can breathe a little bit right now.
Yeah. And
it's been a rough go.
If you're Miles, are you saying, is my 7 innings not as exciting as the home run? Just little high fives as he's going by, and the home run's got everyone dancing.
And now it's Bryson Stott. 0 for 2. 6 hits allowed by Michaelis. 1 run, 5 strikeouts. Did not walk a man. Gave up the home run to Hoskins in 7 1/3. He'll have a final start coming up over the weekend for the All-Star break. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's Matthew Liberatore tomorrow night against Mitch White. And the 1-1 pitch. 1-2. Cardinals bullpen in July has been a bright spot to say the least. 1.03 ERA in 35 innings combined by the guys in the pen. 3rd best in baseball. Off the plate. The opponent's only hitting 163.
I mean, it's like I said, this guy never seems to veer off of his velocity, and that's something he can always go to. He can tinker with the breaking ball, he can tinker with movement, but you always have the good solid 96 to 99.
Jim Hayes has got the wave going again here at Busch Stadium. Well done, Jimmy. He loves the wave.
He's sprinting through the concourse.
Yep.
I don't know how he does it. Then he comes back and he's on TV. He's not even sweating.
3-2 on a play. The late innings, he'll have a report in the 6th, maybe the 7th. And then he goes down to the concourse.
He gets the wave going.
Gets the wave going, and then he prepares for a post-game on-field interview.
It's like when you watch those, some they do it in the big leagues and stuff, but you watch those college football games, the guy with the big flag running on the field. That's
Jimmy.
Yep. You just can't see him because the overhang is kind of blocking his view from us. Ooh. That is a swing and a hit batter.
Hit him, I believe, and that's a strikeout.
That's not fun.
Or did he foul it and it got him? It may have nicked him. Let's see if he got a piece of this.
Either way, it's not fun.
No. Yeah. Oof. All right, foul ball. We'll do it again on 3-2.
Got everyone.
Jimmy, just let it sink in that Albert now has more extra base hits than Stan, and only Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds have more. You say that, and it's just let it sink in. I mean, it's remarkable. The 3-2.
You know what to me is the weird thing? Is we've been watching it up front and personal, and even like you especially, but even at home with me, like being around him all the time, every day. Like every day here, every day at home. We lived in Shady Canyon together when he started playing with the Angels. I mean, it's just like you don't see it, you know? It's like, you know, when your best friend is like the best player in hockey or whatever during the time, but then you go back and look at those stats and you're like, wow, he was good.
On a play again.
You know, and I love what you said earlier. We were talking about the stats as far as the innings pitched here, and we were talking about ERA at home, and I told you off the air, the innings pitched at home is more interesting to me than the ERA a little bit, even though we're talking about the best of the best. But I kind of like to see who did what at what time to relate it. When I was looking at that runs scored list, it just blew me away of the names, and then you sprinkle Derek Jeter and Albert Pujols and then A-Rod and then, like, you know, and they're just like kind of like sprinkled in there, and just guys that you just know every day. And you know, you're sitting in spring training. Remember the day we were doing a game in spring training and Landon was sitting with us and Derek was sitting right over there, and I said, I'll be right back. And my opportunity to just introduce my son to Derek Jeter, ran over there, gave him a big hug. Here's my son, took a picture, ran back in the booth. I mean, you don't realize, and then you look at this sheet of paper with the names of Jimmy Fox and Gehrig and Ruth, and it's just like, holy cow. Would have never thought.
3-2, swing and a miss.
And you know,
pitch number 12, and he got him.
For me growing up, I don't think the access that I had or that we had as kids was as good as it is now, especially with just everything, but just even around the field, you know, and especially for me. And so I thought they were gods. And I'm talking about just the guys in the 80s. Now, I'm not talking about guys I didn't know about or never seen play, like the Babe Ruth and stuff. But now to see it kind of all in perspective on a sheet, wow. That's what's cool. And that's what you say you don't really realize yet. But one day it'll sink in.
I keep telling this to people, and I'm not just trying to sell tickets, but if you've never had your son or daughter, because they may have not been born when Albert was in his prime, come to a game and watch the man play.
I think it's cool. I mean, I did that.
You're never going to see a guy like this again.
I did that with Michael Jordan. I did that. I took my son to go watch Kobe. You know, there was just a few people that you kind of just want to.
I did the same thing with
the
MJ.
other sport. Yeah, in the other sport.
Yep. I always made time to go see Gretzky.
I think we drove from Milwaukee on an off day to Chicago just to watch a Bulls game.
Sure.
And drove back just because I was like, this might be my only chance.
And the 0-2 pitch.
And I think it was a playoff game, and we might have been in the rafters.
And I'm saying, Jimmy, you know, there are young fans that watch our games every night and have probably heard us reference him a bunch over the years when he left St. Louis. Now he's back. Take it in, because you're never going to see a guy like this again.
Well, I think it's the second part of that for me too. See what happens here and it go later. Is I get a lot of people coming up to me that are now, you know, like say my son's age or whatever, and say, my parents told me you were the best. Well, if you're saying that at home right now about Albert, then take your son out there and say, hey, this is the guy I've been telling you about. Even though he might not be the same guy or might not go 3 for 4, but at least he can put a face with that, you know, or show him a game, or more than just highlights. See a real person.
And the fly ball out to center, backing up Carlson. He'll make the catch. 5-1 behind the strong start from Miles Michaelis. Miles Michaelis, the starter for the Cardinals, 7 1/3. The defense of Carlson, he's got a couple of hits tonight. Dickerson is driven in 3. Cardinals had 3 consecutive base hits and RBI hits in the 5th. Albert with that double past Stan the Man, 3rd all-time in extra bases.
It's pretty good highlights. It's pretty good pitches that they hit. It's a pretty good job driving the ball the other way.
And Kelly making his 3rd appearance coming into the ball game. There's a look at your game summary. It's our Chevy call to the pen. It's Nootbaar, Goldschmidt, and Gorman. Out to deep right. Welcome in, Mr. Kelly. 1 pitch and a bomb into right for Nootbaar.
Really good swing right there. That's the guy we've been talking about.
And it brings in Goldie, 1 home run shy of 300. Hitless tonight. And ball 1. The Cardinals have their 2nd home run, the other hit by Dickerson. And it's a 6-1 St. Louis lead. 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1. Goldie, besides the home runs, is 8 runs batted in shy of 1,000 for his career. He's sitting on 19 home runs for the season. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2.
It was nasty on the corner right there. You're telling me 20 and 300 is coming at the same time? Come on, Goldie.
The 2-2. High fly ball into right. Castellanos is over. Watch out. And a foul ball.
I'm telling you, I would love that. I would be all in that net. He'd be pulling me out of there like spider stuck in a web, like his own web. Oof. That would be awesome to be able to jump into the stands and not ever have to worry about hitting a seat.
The kind of night right now for the Phillies. Two-two, 3-2. The smoke after the fireworks of the home run kind of hovering over the ballpark here. On deck, Nolan Gorman. 3-2 the count on Paul Goldschmidt. And he struck him out. A rare 3 strikeout night for Paul Goldschmidt. While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Want to deposit your birthday check right from your phone? Don't waste your wish. You can send money, check your balance, and yes, take care of those checks in a snap. All with the Great Southern mobile app.
Here's Gorman, 0 for 3. The bottom of the lineup, 6, 7, 8, 9. They've done some damage here tonight. 6 through 9. The 2 games, which the Cardinals may win if you can get 3 more outs. 11 hits, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and they score 7, drive in 7. One ball, 1 strike. Dickerson and Newbar both have homered here tonight.
So what'd you hit? Well, I mean, I hit a sinker. What'd you hit? I hit a curveball. Mine went further. No, mine did. Don't think that's not going on right there.
Woo. What a cut by Gorman. Albert just smiling. Why not there with Jeff Albert?
That is the shot of the year so far. That's a great camera angle with those guys laughing.
And the 1-2 pitch. Two and 2. Strikeout of Nolan Gorman. That's the 9th strikeout in the Cardinal lineup this evening. And after the home run on the first pitch, Kelly has got the next 2. Batter is Dylan Carlson. Bunt base hit back in the 2nd inning. Single to right and scored in the 5th. Grounded out to second in the 6th. As of right now, there have been 22,736 men that have put on a major league uniform and appeared. 22,736, and Albert Pujols is 3rd among that group in extra base hits. That is amazing.
They say, and the run scored was 11.
The run scored. He needs 4 more to tie Lou Gehrig, and that'll put him 11th all time.
That's right. He was 12th. Gosh, I don't know why the run scored thing blows me away, because I think it's a really tough thing to do.
And a base hit, and let's see Albert hit another time. Dylan Carlson, a 3-hit night.
I think you got to be a good hitter to get RBIs. You obviously have to be a home run hitter to hit home runs, but you have to be a smart player to score runs.
And the Budweiser play of the game. This double from Albert Pujols off the very top of the wall. 1,378 extra base hits in his Hall of Fame career.
That was almost like, you sure you don't want to check and see if that hit over the wall and bounce back? Every home run counts right now.
He's 6 games away to tie Stan the Man Eddie Murray for 6th all time in games played in the history of Major League Baseball. And a shift on the left side of the infield, the 1-0. Oh, he hung it, and Albert took a rip.
That is the old Albert swing right there. You notice the leg kick's getting a little smaller over time. Have you noticed that? And you know what that does for him, for me? Keeps the balance there. Because I feel like the leg kick was, I want to swing at this pitch no matter what. And now it's a little leg kick, head's more still, and he's taking pitches, and he's a little bit more consistent with the swing.
And the 1-1 pitch.
That just looks like him right there. Oh.
Popped up again, foul territory, and playable.
Oh,
catch is made. Lars Nootbaar, the first pitch from Kelly. in the seats and rights to extend the St. Louis lead. It's now 6-1.
Well, fun night here at the ballpark. 6-1 in favor of St. Louis. Cabrera will
Start the inning. We'll see if he finishes it with Kyle Schwarber leading it off. Schwarber hitting just .202 against the lefties. Nootbaar the home run to extend the St. Louis lead. Schwarber is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and hit into a 5-6-3 double play with the shift. By the way, the double for Albert Pujols, that was number 678. He's 5th all time in doubles.
Wait, what?
Next on that list, I'm going to give you some names here.
678.
So
I like the names.
Ty Cobb is next. In home runs, A-Rod would be next. 5th all time. Extra base hits, he's now 3rd by himself. And that's a rope. Foul. Total bases, Albert is 3rd behind Stan the Man. Runs batted in, he is 2nd all time to Hank Aaron. In hits, he is 9th all time. Up next would be Carl Yastrzemski. And then in games played, as I mentioned, he's closing in on Stan the Man, Eddie Murray. And then with runs, it's Lou Gehrig. That's why I say, come see the man play before he says, I'm done. You could say, I saw him play.
And it's going to be in the home run derby.
Looking forward to it.
Did you, when you were reading those stats, did you see Cabrera look at Schwarber like, what the heck? He just hit an 0-2 fastball, 150 miles an hour down the line foul.
Rope. The 1-2. Hit sharply again to first. Goldie's got it. Takes it himself, steps on the bag, and the out.
That was funny, though. He gave him a look like, how did you hit that hard?
And Ollie is going to go back to his pen here with the righties coming up, and then not extended too long here with Cabrera with no off days and 6 games remaining after tonight. So Junior Fernandez coming into the ball game with a 5-run lead, and 6-1 St. Louis. Junior Fernandez trying to get the final 2 outs of this ball game. Hoskins 2 for 3. It was robbed by Edmundo Sosa and then Castellanos. I'll be curious to see who the Cat has picked out for his star of the game interview if we get there and the Cardinals win. Jimmy, I'm sure, down there and getting ready for his post-game duties.
I haven't seen him in a while. He's usually has like a trail of people following him when he's either doing the wave or walking around in the stands. Oh.
There he is.
Hi, Jimbo. Don't smile. Don't smile.
Hey, Jimmy.
He's listening. I like that one, Danny.
Hey.
Hey, Jimmy.
Jimmy's always locked in. That'll be part of the post game coming up.
Can you get a better seat?
No, sir. Junior Fernandez utilizing slider, the sinker, and we know he's got a big arm, and he's been awfully good. Hit to third. Sosa's had a nice night defensively, and that puts away Rhys Hoskins, out number 2, and Castellanos will be the final batter. Potentially.
You gotta love the, I guess you could say, the reemergence of Fernandez so far.
Big time.
No jinxing, but I like it when guys come up, show some ability, go back down, come back up, even better. It's the thing, you cannot take it as a personal attack when you go down. You have to get better.
Fly ball, and it gets down. A base hit as Carlson banged the baseball back in the glove. You could tell he was frustrated. He wanted to go for it. Maybe he didn't get the best of jumps. Who knows?
I think the ball was just not hit hard enough for him to get where he wanted it. Or You know, it's funny because the conversation that we have all of a sudden now changes from hitting to defense for him. You know, with just he and I,
if I'm walking by and see him, he'll be like, hey, what about this? What about this in center field? And I love it because I feel like he's always trying to get better on both sides.
There's Derek Hall with 2 outs and strike 1.
You know what I mean? Like I was saying about Junior, I was like, it's really easy for guys to go down and feel sorry for themselves. It takes a big person to go down there and say, okay, what do I got to do to get back?
The shift on the right side and the 0-1 pitch. A ball and a strike. Phillies down to their final strike. Dickerson a home run. Newbar a home run. Big night for Albert. The 1-2. Off the plate, 2-2. The 2-2. Broken back.
Oh, no.
Fernandez lost his glove, and that will be a base hit. And Hall extends the ball game with an infield hit.
No, I think sometimes when you try to catch this ball, you just like to let it go. Even this one's so close, but this ball just goes through free. And he just kills it just enough.
Looking to check on Junior Fernandez here. Chris Conroy going out with Mike Maddox as they're looking at his pitching end. He says he's all right. We'll see. Cardinals trying to pick up win number 47 here tonight and go to 47 and 42 on the year. Dodgers in town tomorrow. Phillies continue their long road trip before the break. They head to Toronto. Two outs, 2 on. JT Realmuto off the plate and a ball. He's fly to right, single to left, and a base hit to center. Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big crowd tonight, 34,000 plus, and they're on their feet here at Busch Stadium.
Realmuto tonight looks really good at the plate. Not just the 2 hits, but the type of hits. He was the one that hit the ball over Tommy's head at 110 miles an hour on a line just out of the reach of the shortstop.
Phillies again down to their final strike, and the Cardinals a strike away from earning a split in the 4-game set. The 1-2 off the plate. 2-2.
The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Fernandez ends it with a strikeout. The Cardinals get a split, and they win it by the final of 6-1 here at Busch Stadium.
Gotta love it right there. He stayed with it even after giving up the 2 hits and gets the finish with a strikeout. It's a big game right there for the Cardinals, and I love the multiple innings of 2 and 3 runs and the homers. The homers are exciting, and another nice job by Miles Michaelis, of course.
So the Cardinals hold on for the 6-1 win. They split in the 4-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies, a night in which Albert Pujols doubles, and he's now 3rd all-time extra base hits in Major League history. Stay with us. Post-game show is coming up. The Dodgers in town tomorrow. Cardinals win it by the final of 6-1.